artists and people who own and operate their own tattoo businesses. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing Sasha Cox from the Ink Garage Tattoo Studio in Western Australia. And Sasha has very kindly agreed to share her story and journey into how it is that she's become successful as a tattoo artist and business owner. I hope in revealing the secrets to Sasha's success, her story will inspire and help you in your own quest to be successful in the tattoo industry. So without further ado, let's welcome Sasha. Hello, Sasha.
Hello, Hayley. How are you?
Very well, thanks. Very excited to interview you. But first, let's tell everyone a little bit about you from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my full name is Sasha Cox. I'm 22 years old and I live in Perth, Western Australia. And I am a successful tattoo artist.
Great. So tell us how you actually got involved in the tattoo industry to begin with.
I began in the tattoo world at just the age of 15. I was still in school and I walked past a studio which were advertising for an apprentice. My mother and I walked past and I said, "Mum, let's go in there." So we went in there and asked about it, and they were a bit uncertain about my age, so they got me to start working weekends.
Yep.
And it wasn't long after that that I got a part-time job and began my tattooing apprenticeship.
Fantastic. So were you interested in art and design or drawing at that stage?
Absolutely. From a very young age, my sister and I both drew, and we'd paint with my grandmother. And our school art program wasn't overly exciting, so I thought, why not leave and do something that I love.
Okay, fantastic. And tell us about your apprenticeship then, and who you apprenticed under.
I worked for a studio in Morley called Artful Ink. And I worked for them for a good couple of years, completed my apprenticeship there, and then not long after that I moved up to Como and began tattooing from the Como studio.
Okay. So can you remember what the first tattoo was that you received yourself?
Yes, my mother and I both decided on a small heart tattoo on our wrists. The heart I'd seen on a Marilyn Manson album cover. It's quite quirky and different, and my sister also now has the same. So I got one of the boys that I worked with at the time to tattoo both me and my mother. It was definitely interesting.
It's all in the family now.
It is, absolutely.
And do you remember what your first professional paid tattoo was that you did?
Yeah, briefly, I remember it was in a different language. I'm pretty sure it might have been Arabic lettering. It was on a young guy. That was a while ago now.
Yeah. Well, when was that? Just 2 years into your apprenticeship, or?
Yeah. That's when I was asked to start doing paid clients.
Yep.
And yeah, this young boy and his father came in and he was my first.
And how long did it take you through your apprentice to progress and develop your skills from simple designs to more complex ones? What was that process like?
Everyone brings in something, completely different, but then you get your small work, your infinity symbols, your feathers, and they become quite easy because you do a lot of them, but obviously everything you change up and create for each new customer.
And is that something that you particularly enjoyed?
Absolutely.
Was about the design that a customer wanted?
Absolutely. Some people even draw their own and bring them in, which is pretty cool. I've had some parents bring in drawings that their children have drawn, and I've tattooed that on them.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, it's good fun. There's nothing better than, drawing a custom design for someone and then walking in and just loving the design.
And would you help to offer suggestions for improvement if you saw the opportunity?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And can you remember what some of the hardest things were to overcome in your first initial years as a tattoo artist?
I think being the fact that I was a female when I started, it wasn't overly popular. There was none of the television shows that we
Yeah.
have on TV now. I just, yeah, being a female, it was kind of hard. I guess no one, and especially at my young age, no one really expected me to push through like I did. But I really had high hopes to, to get into this industry and make it my career.
Great. So, if there was one piece of advice that you would give people wanting to get into to start as a tattoo artist, what would it be?
Definitely take your time with your tattoos. There's nothing worse than people rushing tattoos. It's not a race.
Hmm.
It's just take your time with each tattoo. You're only as good as your last tattoo. That was what I once heard from someone, and it means a lot.
And that really stuck with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So you mentioned about sort of winning through and pushing through some of the obstacles that you faced early on. What sort of attributes do you believe you need to have to succeed as an artist?
What was that, sorry?
What sort of attributes do you believe you need to possess as an artist, as a person, and to succeed in the tattoo world?
Um, when you start off learning your tattoo apprenticeship, you learn a lot about the cleaning and hygiene, which is
Yep.
very important to the industry. You spend hours making sure everything is sterilized and single packaged needles, tubes. You learn about cross contamination, and it all has to be taken very seriously because we're piercing the skin with needles and we're constantly working with blood. So I think taking your apprenticeship very seriously is very, very important. And obviously, ordering brand new equipment each time, and yeah, just
What about personal skills and what you bring to the customer service skills, interpersonal skills, those types of skills? What do you believe is important?
I definitely believe teamwork is important in a studio.
Yeah.
Um, Everyone should share the duties around the shop and respect one another. If you're going to become involved in the industry, you need to leave your bad attitude behind. It just doesn't help. I see a lot of artists go way above their heads, and it affects them as a person and as an artist. Nobody wants to be tattooed by an arsehole.
Yeah.
And respect your other artists and take their advice.
Do you feel that it's an industry that made you grow up quickly as well?
Yes, definitely. I was always working with people a lot older than me,
Yes.
and I still am the young one in the shop.
At 22, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely lots of growing up to do. I've worked for people that have made me grow up a lot as a person, and be able to take care of myself.
Yeah, that's great. So, do you remember what were your early ambitions? Did you always want to work for yourself?
Um, when I got involved in the industry, it wasn't to run my own shop or to work for myself, but
Hmm.
that's the bonus of the job. I didn't know what to expect when I signed up to the industry. I just took everything on board, and I'm very happy where I am now. It's a lot of responsibility to run a studio and to be in charge of other artists. So I'm quite happy where I am now.
That's great. That's great. So, how many hours would you um, involve yourself in the business now?
At the moment, I'm currently working Monday to Fridays. So we take our first booking at 11 a.m. and then we continue into our last job of the day. Sometimes I'll stay back and do nights if the people can't make it during the day. We have to work around with people's working hour times.
And how many are you part of the team? How many in the team that you're working with?
We have 6 on our team,
Okay. And
so there's quite a few of us.
so, this is your own business, Sasha?
No, it's owned. My bosses own the studio, but we are all responsible for ourselves.
Ah, okay, okay. So then your own challenges of your own bookkeeping for your own clientele and that kind of thing
Yep, we're starting to learn everything on a computer a booking system now.
makes it
So
a lot easier.
yeah, so that's good. Like we're improving our technology skills. And
So
now I have
sorry, so you all operate independently,
yeah, yeah,
all under the one roof.
yeah. We're all under
Okay.
the one roof.
So
We're in charge of our bookings, in charge of our clientele, our deposits.
okay. And is there anything that you would do differently if you had the chance to start from the beginning again?
Um,
Or do you
I
find that
think
you're just learning all the time and improving all the time?
yeah, there's just constant improvement. Every tattoo you do, you see yourself getting better and improving. I don't think I'd go back to the start because it was pretty exhausting. But no, just if I could give any advice to someone starting in the industry, just take everything on board, take everyone's advice, learn from each artist. It's just going to help you a lot in the long run.
Right. So tell me about your artistic style.
My style? Um, I don't know if I'd say that I had a particular style. Although a lot of my friends say, like, they'll look at my work and say, I can tell that's your lettering. But
Okay, so that
I do hope to get involved in realism and portraits. That's eventually what I want to specialize in.
okay. So do you provide any other services other than do you do body piercings, that kind of thing?
Yep, we do body piercings. We do custom tattoos. We draw and design. Um, we have two lovely body piercers who work weekends, and yeah, that's so it's just tattooing and piercing from the studio. We don't do any scarification or body modifications.
Okay, okay. So is there a large percentage of your work that's just for touch-ups or alterations, do you find?
Yeah, we'd usually save probably about 10% of the work would be touch-ups and alterations.
Okay, and that's mostly from bad work that you're having to correct, or is it from older tattoos that need refreshing?
Both really, and tattoos that have been done in other countries.
Okay. And what do
Yeah.
you think are your most requested images? Lettering you've mentioned a couple of times.
Yes, I get asked to do a lot of the fine detail, your smaller script lettering. Um, I recently did a tiger portrait on a finger, so it was quite small. But I love doing all that tiny,
Really
detailed
intricate.
work. It's an excellent challenge.
Great. And so tell me, in your art, is it hard to stay original? Where do you get your inspiration from?
Um, it is hard to stay original because there's so many artists all over the world, and there's so many designs being posted on the internet. But I do think it's important to put your piece of view in each, everything that you do. Definitely, it definitely makes someone's artwork stand out a lot.
Okay. And do you think you can recall for us what's the tattoo design that you're most proud of? What work are you most proud of?
Most proud of? Definitely the ones that have got a story. Like people that dedicate their artwork to others, loved ones, people that have passed away. Designs for people fighting diseases or illness.
Yes.
Some of the designs I've helped give the family peace of someone who's passed away. Recently, I tattooed some cremations into a lady's tattoo, and that was one of her children. So
Oh,
that was a very very exciting day, but emotions all around.
Yeah, very moving experience too, I'd imagine.
Yeah, well, when I was first asked to do it, I hadn't heard of it being very popular, but once I did it, it was quite easy to do, and the people were great. And we all had a bit of a emotion at the end.
Yeah, yeah. That's a wonderful experience. So let's get to the sort of nitty gritty of being in control of your own day and your own work. Tell us how you price your work.
Yeah, our studio pricing, we start off at our minimum price is 150, and then we'll work in 150 on continuous pieces such as sleeves and large designs.
Hmm.
Um, and custom work is the same hourly rate.
Okay, okay. So yeah, hourly rate you break up for custom pieces. Okay, and what else do you sell in the shop?
We
Anything for
have
products?
two designs of t-shirts. We also sell left and right-handed coffee mugs. We sell body jewelry, and we give out cigarette lighters that have the shop name on them, and fridge magnets, and
Yeah.
obviously business cards.
Okay. And were you responsible for choosing your own equipment when you started?
Yes, yes, it's
Uh,
definitely required.
so how did you choose the equipment that you use now?
Um, I currently use Dragonfly rotary machines for both line work and shading.
Yep.
And once you go rotary, I think it's hard to get back to coils. Obviously, the machines are a lot softer. My machines are almost silent, and a lot of people will come in and they just can't believe it because
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
noise that scares people.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Okay. And so how long have you been using that equipment?
I've been using Dragonfly machines for about 2 years now.
Okay.
And I use the black ink Kurosumi. I've tried a few of the black inks over the years, but it's definitely it's definitely given me the best results for black ink. With coloured inks, I use either Eternal or Fusion for my colours, and for my grey wash, I have a 4 set of Silverback grey wash, which I find very effective and very light.
And what about your inks?
Um, Yeah, so that was I've pretty much covered the inks except for and for white ink I'll always swear by Fusion.
Okay.
So I order them all from ProChat.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely Eternal and Fusion inks.
Great. Okay.
I get the
Okay.
brightest colours.
And tell us about your clientele. How have you built up and retained your own customer base?
We advertise on Facebook, Instagram, but we also have a website and we stay in contact with our clients via email, phone, Facebook, and walk-ins. Um, yeah, your clients that are comfortable with you will follow you anywhere, really.
And if I was to interview one of your clients, what would you want them to say about you?
I often get told I'm very gentle and kind,
Yeah.
but those who know me will say I never stop talking and I never stop joking and laughing. But I've had some really nice compliments that have kept me doing what I love over my career.
Fantastic.
So
And although you all operate as a team and operate independently within your current studio, do you keep an eye on other outside competition?
um, you're always curious to look at others' work, but no, I don't. I don't keep an eye on the competition. I try to just focus on myself and the studio I'm at.
Yep. So if you were to put it into words, what do you believe makes you stand out from um, other artists of a similar age, even?
I guess I could say I have a unique look. um, and I'm fairly small, so I've always been the little baby in the shop. I always get told that I'm gentle and kind, so I guess if I was a big scary woman, I'd be a lot scarier.
So do you tend to get more of the, are your clientele made up of a younger clientele, or really across the board in terms of
It's
age?
all across the board. I've tattooed, my oldest woman I've ever tattooed would be about 87.
Wow.
She was great.
So somebody coming to you for the very first time, what are some of the questions that they should be asking you coming in for the first time?
As long as they, know what they're sort of after design-wise, it's pretty straightforward. They just need to find an artist that they're comfortable with, and that works in their sort of style. So if you know what you want, just go into a studio and obviously just find the artist that you're most comfortable with, and it makes it a lot easier if you have a connection with your artist.
Yeah.
We spend hours at a time with people, and you get to know all about them, their family. It's great. We have some great conversation.
So once you begin developing a relationship with them from then on, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And when they become regulars, you're seeing them every second week, and you're catching up on what's been going on. And no, it's really good. That's the best part of the job. Being able to sit there and communicate with all these different people.
Yep.
We have a laugh in the shop. We just love it.
Well, I think you're being a little bit modest too, Sasha. I think it is your calming manner and friendly manner. I can hear it over this call. I think that's what's unique about you. It would be difficult for anybody not to feel comfortable with you. So I think you're being a little.
Thank you very much. But everyone in the studio is very relaxed and comfortable, easy going. And whenever I work in a studio, I try to portray that on other artists, because I know myself. There's nothing worse than going into a studio and being nervous and
Yep.
not having a connection with the artist.
So there's a real culture within the whole studio.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Music. What can I expect if I walk in?
The sort of music varies day to day. It depends who gets on the computer first. But we try to keep the tunes different every day.
But just really welcoming. What's the color scheme of the studio?
The studio is red, black, and white.
Hmm.
So we've got our red walls and we've got our black and white checks. Um, it's definitely a lot nicer than what the studio was. It was a pink colour.
Oh, okay. So it's had a bit of an overhaul.
Yes, it's had a makeover. Definitely looks better in red and black.
So you mentioned about in terms of attracting customers, you mentioned your social media and your Facebook and Instagram as well. Um, and you're just going into putting your customers on a customer database, you mentioned, or with
Yeah.
email? Yep.
Yeah, with the booking, it's rather than writing our bookings into a appointment book, we've got an online type calendar. So everything's, rather than writing it down in the book, we're learning to program it into the computer, and that way we can access it any time and check what jobs we have, just work out what we've got for the week, what we've got the next day. So it's actually pretty handy now that I'm getting used to it.
Oh, that's great. It was supposed to make your life easier, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Everything's becoming technology.
Tell us about your experience with attending tattoo conventions and expos.
I've been to 3 conventions so far. I absolutely love them. I just love how there's just so much going on. Um, yeah, there's just artists everywhere, and there's artwork and books and designs and your vintage markets, your shopping. They've also got your main stage, and you've got performances going on, and you've got the bar. There's just so much to do, and you can even take your kids to them now. We had a jumping castle at the Melbourne convention. So it caters for everyone. It's great. You can go in as a family, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So would you recommend other up-and-coming artists or younger artists in the industry to attend expos to sort of gain their knowledge and that sort of thing?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. It also, for people who are shy and not used to working in front of people, it just helps you get your work out there to be seen. You've got people coming up looking, and it just helps you, relax with people around you. And I think that's very important. And it's good you all get to have a chat, and your customers chatting to everyone as well. No, they're definitely a good idea, especially if you're learning, because there's a lot you can watch your other artists, and you can see how they do things and the colors they're using. You know what I mean? You can just pick up
Yeah, yeah, little tips all the time.
little
Yeah.
tips of artists. Yeah.
And you were coming across to the Melbourne one from Perth. So did you already have bookings before you set up, or was it all from people attending the expo?
A bit of both. We'll start organising bookings like a couple of months before the expo, and then if we've got free time on the day, we'll take walk-ins.
Okay. Tell us about what your plans are for the future. What would you like to accomplish as an artist in the next 5 years, for instance?
The next 5 years, definitely try and work as much as I can, continue to learn as much as I can, and I'd love to eventually travel. But yeah, just the main focus is to just do as many pieces as I can and just put my heart and soul into it.
Fantastic, fantastic. And that's brilliant. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with me today, Sasha, that you think is a really pivotal piece of information that somebody wanting to get into the industry needs to have?
Um, all I can say is for people starting out, I get asked a lot how to get into the industry, and when I got into the industry, I spent about a month getting my portfolio together of artwork and drawings and paintings, and then I put it all in a great big A3 book and just took that into the studio. And I think it's important when you're showing a studio your artwork, it's important to have a variety of artwork, different genres, so they know that you can sort of access any work that will come in.
Right.
It's important to have a variety of categories. No, but I think if you want to get into it, if it's something you love, go for it. Go all out.
Great. And what about a mentor in your early years and even today? Is there somebody that has really, really helped you, guide you?
Um, I'd say my father.
Okay.
He's been great. He stood by me throughout my whole career. He's always pushed me. I've had a few times where I felt like giving in and just getting out of the industry altogether. But he's great. Because he knows how much I love it, and he just pushes me to keep doing what I love.
Okay. So it is important to have real family support.
Absolutely, yeah.
What about professional support? Have you had one particular artist who's influenced you mostly, or just it's been from being exposed to lots of different artists?
Yeah, there's no particular artist that's inspired me to keep going. I do think when Kat Von D came out with her TV show,
Yeah.
that definitely inspired a lot of people. And it was good because she sort of made it more acceptable for women,
Yes.
the public eye.
Have you actually seen more and more women get involved in the industry?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people contact me over Facebook, girls, and they'll just be asking how to get into the industry, or they have gotten into the industry and they would just ask for tips and pointers. But I think it's great, you know, like females can tattoo just as well as men can.
Sure. So now, when you started, you said you were, you know, there were very few women, and now you can use it to your advantage, and of being one of the, you know, one of the many few successful women, and use that to your advantage, can't you? In being a mentor for others.
Yeah, that's it. I'd love to see an all-girl studio open up one day.
Oh, I'm sure there are. Well, there we are. Maybe that's your first venture then.
It could be.
That's fantastic, Sasha. Thank you very much for your time and for sharing some very personal information and your personal journey. And I'm sure your story will resonate with someone and inspire them into action and to do what you did, and that was to keep on at it, and hopefully they can start their own journey of becoming a tattooer, and maybe someday even owning their own tattoo shop. So thank you very much for your time today, Sasha.
Thank you
And
very much for having me.
oh, my pleasure. I wish you all the best for continued success in the Ink Garage Tattoo Studio over there in Como, Western Australia.
Thank
And
you very much. And anyone come down.
absolutely. Well, we'll make this call available on YouTube, and we'll put some links there for everyone to go to as well.
Beautiful, great.
Thanks, Sasha.
Yay.